as a coach, like we're saying, live in the moment. Also appreciate what got you here, but the last one that you have to do is, Sweet 16 is great, but boy, does Elite Eight sound better, and that's what we got to do, man. It's our goal.
I'm Daniel Bowles.
And I'm Dan Searle, and we have an extremely special Off the Beaten Path episode today. Our guest is our co-host, Cory Baldwin. He has made it to the brightest lights available on Off the Beaten Path. He is at the Junior College National Championships in the second round, on to the quarterfinals, and we're going to hear all those stories from the conference tournament in Georgia to the first round win to what's coming up next. Bowles, how about this guy, huh?
Oh, it seems like a whirlwind couple of weeks here for you, Cory. I think all the listeners know you're off the beaten path, but I would tell everybody, how in the world did you get from the swamp to all of a sudden plane tickets, and how did this all happen?
Yeah, tell us, Cory, where you sitting? What's going on?
All right, well, it's a crazy story. The basketball part of it is our starting point guard, who was honorable mention all conference player, and it just set the school record for most assists in a game, ends up tearing his ACL. And what you would think would be maybe the end of your season as far as reaching your goals is we're riding an 11-game winning streak now, and 8 of those wins were after he got hurt. Would have never thought that. Crazy story. Unbelievable props to our starting point guard now, Daniel Parrish, who last night had 19 points and 21 rebounds in the to get us to the Sweet 16, and made 2 huge free throws in overtime to kind of make us breathe a little bit.
Wait, you said that was your point guard with 21 rebounds?
Correct. And our team went, it didn't get worse. It didn't necessarily get better. It got different when he ended up being a starter. And again, just unbelievable. Kudos to him for that. But also Nick, who got hurt, Nick Giles, who was, on an unbelievable season for himself, was a transfer from Tribes Technical College in North Dakota. Okay, and he's from Lakeland, Florida. Everything ties back to Florida on this show.
Sure does.
We'll continue that going. And he was having an unbelievable year, and to get hurt, and he has been nothing but like having another assistant coach now. He's really helped a lot in game planning and just keeping positive on the bench, grabbing guys in what could be an emotional time in the tournament. He was huge. And so anyway, that's kind of the basketball part of it a little bit, or the behind the scenes. But as far as doing it, we finished second in the league, and we win in the quarterfinals of our league tournament. We played Gordon at home, and we were getting ready to go to Rome, Georgia, which is a hard place to travel to for us. It's about 5 hours, 5.5 driving. And we get word as we're, doing a little celebration at half court after our win, that they got upset by the 8th seed East Georgia, which meant we would now host it. And that was, that was pretty significant, obviously, for the travel, not so much for hosting it, just the ability to not have to travel and do all the craziness that we would have had to do to go to Rome. And then we end up playing South Georgia Tech, who's the only team that swept us. We only had 3 losses all year, and 2 of them were to South Georgia Tech. And we had to play them in the second round semifinals at home, and ended up being, a nail biter. And we pulled it out. And then East Georgia won the other game, so the 8th seed made it all the way to the finals. So we really had a crazy Cinderella run for them. And we jumped them pretty good. Felt like it might have been an easier one because we had beaten them 30+ and 17 at their place in the regular season. But it was also 1st of January when we played, or middle of January. So how weird is that, play a team 3 months later? But anyway, we play them, and we were up 17 going almost to halftime. They make a run, cut it to 10, and then they come out 8-0 run. And we end up being down 6 with about 6 minutes to go. And kind of turned it on and had a good finish. We held them to 2 field goals in the last 5.5 minutes, and ended up getting a win. And at that point, when you win in junior college, it's crazy because it's an unbelievable celebration. Like almost like the only comparison might be low major winning their conference tournament, because that's the only way you're going to go to Hutch.
To make it to the NCAA tournament,
the
for you
national-
guys to make
yeah.
it to Hutch, to make it the National Junior College Championship. Wow. Corey, we got listeners out here who have to be fans of Off the Beaten Path if they listen to us on a regular basis. But fill us in on Georgia Junior College, GJCAA. What is that? Where is that? That's what you want in order to advance. Give us a quick little picture of junior college basketball.
All right, I can do that for those 7 fans that we have. It's actually now the GCAA, because a lot of the colleges in it are like ourselves. They're not quote unquote junior colleges. They just play in the National Junior College Association. And it's for basketball, men's basketball, it's 9 teams. Andrew is the only private college, Andrew College. And then you have South Georgia Tech, Central Georgia Tech, Albany Tech, and Southern Crescent Tech, which are the 4 technical trade schools, trade colleges in our league. And then you have that's 5, and then the other 4 are colleges: Gordon, East Georgia State College, Gordon State College, Georgia Highlands, and us, South Georgia State. So that makes up the 9 teams. With the COVID year, we compact everything into back-to-back home and home games, and you play 3 games a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and we had 2 bye weeks that were built to help COVID makeups. And we only ended up with about 5 COVID makeup games, so we had some luck in our league. But the league now has been good for about 4 or 5 years. It's kind of started trending up again, as everything goes in cycles. And Central Georgia Tech has ran the league the last 3 years, winning it, but had not won out in Hutch in the national tournament. So our league had taken a little heat for that, even though that's not fair, because they were a very good team. Obviously, to win the league 3 years in a row, they were a great team. And Highlands before had a run where they had went out 3 years in a row, and they had won games out there. So that our league kind of up and down on the respect it may get nationally, but obviously a good league with a lot of in-state players.
Corey, before we jump on the plane with you to go to Hutch,
Huh?
let's stay there. What does it mean to represent the league for you guys going to Hutch? And we are the team from Georgia. How important is that? How meaningful is that for you and for your guys?
I think for my guys, very important, because they went through this league. They've seen how tough it is, some for the first time, but most, their second or third time around, if they redshirted or whatever, and they've seen it. And to know we've been so close so many times. We finished 3rd last year and 2nd year before that. I think in the last 5 years, we finished 2nd or 3rd 4 of those times. And so we were right there every year with a chance to do it. And then we won the league 6 years ago and lost in the finals and didn't get out here. So we've been so close. So it kind of, even though those guys wasn't there for all those, they kind of felt a little bit of that pressure, and to finally win it and represent and do something that they knew some of the former players didn't get to do. I think they feel a lot of pride just on that, alone.
Hey, before Bowles jumps in with some hoops questions here, take us to the travel day. You've got some guys who have never been on an airplane, and how exciting is that you get to travel to the national championship, guys that have never done this. Describe that. Tell that story for us a little bit, Corey.
Oh, it's awesome. When you win, a couple of guys might have thrown the game if they'd known they were going to fly out. Some of them were scared to death, and it was their first flight. I think we had a party of 25 traveling, trainer, some red shirts, assistant coaches, managers, players, and out of that group of 11 had never flown. And the way it worked out was they ended up having to break us up into 3 parties to travel. So Saturday was a full travel day. We did not practice at all, which was a little weird. But we took off Sunday, Monday after winning, practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, flew out. I was on the first group. We were, at the airport at 5:30 in the morning in Jacksonville. and we flew to Jacksonville to Atlanta. And on the way there, Jalen King, who was runner-up player of the year in our league, he had to put his hood all the way over, and kind of he wasn't ready for the takeoff. But after we got going, when we were landing, I looked over at him, and he was glued to the window and was all about it. And then when we flew from Atlanta to Wichita, he was all about it. He was sitting right by the window. He wanted to see it, taking pictures and everything. So he kind of grew into it. We had 2 other groups that flew out separate times, and kind of similar things. 2 or 3 guys in each group were definitely holding hands and saying prayers and very nervous.
We're pulling for you to win the whole thing, but some of these stories are what it's all about, though, too. This team together, traveling, having these kind of experience and opportunities. Cory, love it. I love it.
And another neat thing was we got here. It's cold here. Spring in Kansas is not spring in South Georgia for sure, but it snowed this morning. So we wake up after winning, and I had 2 guys running out there trying to throw snowballs because they had never seen snow before. Because they were true Florida guys. And, forget we just had the biggest win in school history. Let's have a snowball fight with snow that might have been about a half an inch, but still it covered the ground.
First time. I forget it's the biggest win in school history. It's snowing. That's awesome. Yes.
And then, some of the other neat things are first, just I think when we, having time practices, that might seem silly. But, you go in, you got 1 hour, teams are waiting behind you. You got people in your practice. You got people taking pictures. You got people asking questions. We have a host. The Shriners run the tournament, and they give you a Shriner host. And man, it's awesome. They're all in and asking questions and getting pictures with different guys. And it's just kind of a neat experience for all of them, to see it. And then when the game tipped, I think we were a little shell shocked early, but I think they were still taking it all in, And the neatest part was we were the biggest upset yesterday if you go by the seeding, and I think the whole all the workers and older people that are involved in it they always cheer for the underdogs. So we've kind of grown, and we got fans. It's almost like a Rocky movie. The beginning, they're not really cheering for you because Salt Lake's closer in proximity, but by the beginning of the second half, we had a whole new fan base, and that was kind of neat,
Now, Cory, talk to us about, so you go Salt Lake in the first round, who's a perennial, top 20 team, and now you get South Plains. So I think it said it was 4 trips in a row for them. Just talk about your preparation compared to those guys, where you're getting your guys used to the atmosphere, and for them, it's almost old hat.
Yeah. Well, both of them have won numerous national championships. Salt Lake had won 2, 2009 and 14. So we joked they had won as many national championships as we had been to tournaments. So they definitely had a little more familiarity. But also, I think our style is so different. We've tried to really just hang our hat on that and say that no matter what the experience is, their experience playing against our style won't be the same. And that's kind of been our selling point, whether it's right or wrong, that's what we're selling. And right now we're buying it, so we'll keep selling. South Plains is probably the junior college, to be honest with you, in the 2000s. The coach, Steve Green, is probably the most known junior college coach now. Wabash and Ben Sims had the guy that won forever, retired, so now it would be Coach Green. And, to play him, coach against him will be kind of neat, knowing, all they've accomplished. And they were number 1, I think, 10 or 12 weeks this year. But they have a weird thing, too. They're the only team in the tournament coming in on a losing streak. So they had lost 2 in a row. They lost the last game of the season, which removed them from being number 1, dropped them, I think, to 2 or 3. And then they lost in the first round of their tournament. So they're the only team that came into the tournament carrying a losing streak. That could be good or bad. They're probably kind of mad. So they poked the bear right before we play, and that's not good. But, they have some real good players. They have a Georgetown transfer that's well known in all the juke talk. But they have some other guys that are just as good or better that get, not as much run because he's a bigger transfer. and that just shows you how good they are. I mean, they're probably 8 or 10 deep. So it'll be tough, but that's the neat part about junior college, just like any national tournament. We've never played them, they've never played us. So it's going to be filling each other out the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then hope within that, it ends up being a good game.
But this our podcast will come out before that game. Hopefully people are watching them, be able to tune in and catch all the action. Say what you did a little bit earlier, Cory. What's your little motto? What are you telling your team one more time about they haven't seen our style?
Yeah, they have experience in things we don't have, but they haven't played against us. And that's what we have, our style, our system, and we feel like we got to just ride that out. That's who we are. Let's go with it, And
Yep.
I thought last night, we went a little deeper in the bench than we would like to. We had foul trouble, but we've had a gentleman that has not played a lot. In fact, he had not played in the last 8 games, and it wasn't due to injury, coach's decision. And he played in the first half last night. Demonte Wallace, a freshman, and man, I thought he kind of turned the table, and some of that was because he really believes in what we do. As a 12th, 11th man, who would normally be our 4th point guard, he had moved up to our 3rd due to the injury. And last night's game, he looked like our 1st at times. And that would go back to what we're trying to sell. He's just all in on the style. Yep. So that was
good. Tell us some more about that game, Cory, where you had to come back to overtime and win it. You've got a point guard with 19 points and 21 rebounds. What are 2 or 3 moments there that really stick out from that game before Bulls can take us on to the game on Wednesday?
I think a couple of things. One, we're down 11 to start, and then we're up 9 at halftime. And it was almost like a tale of two different games in the first half. And our bench got us back in it. We had 3 starters with 2 fouls in the first half. And then the second half, we jumped them. We got it up to 14 was our biggest lead. And we had some guys foul out, and they did a great job of kind of calming down a little bit against the pressure. And they took the lead. They went up 4 with about 4 to go. And then we had the lead 2 with they take a 3 with about 8 seconds left, and the same guy gets the offensive rebound and finishes at the buzzer to send it to overtime. And that was kind of heartbreaking because we had felt like we had won it, and we kind of had to swallow a little bit and get back on the horse and let's go again. And we ended up fouling 2 more guys out in overtime. We had 4 guys total foul out, so the bench was huge. But we go up 2. They miss a play around the goal. We end up kind of getting a block. They kind of get it back, miss again, and we pull out and get fouled and make some big free throws and end up winning by 4. But it was an unbelievable relief when we made the second free throw to go up 4 with 1.7, because you knew you could kind of just like, we really just did this after a couple of times feeling like you did it and then feeling like you wasn't going to do it. And it definitely was an emotional roller coaster. But our guys were ecstatic. I mean, we definitely, if I was South Plains, I would say I'm glad we're playing them because it looked like we'd already won our Super Bowl. But hopefully that's not the case. But we definitely were very excited about that win.
Well, did you flash back to that East Georgia game? I mean, up 17, down 6, and battling down to the wire. Did that experience kind of help in that first round game?
Without a doubt. I almost think our last 3 games have been very, very similar, where we've had bigger leads, and maybe we need to work on holding on to them, but we seem to lose the lead, and then not only lose the lead, give up the lead, or the lead get taken from us, and then we've been able to scratch and claw and get it back and get the win. Overtime was definitely nerve-wracking, though. Very, very, especially we had about a minute left, and our Jace Moore, who's kind of our leader, fouled out. And he's kind of our defensive tone setter. And that was tough because he had been doing a good job on a shooter that they had. And, you really kind of wondered right then. But, again, our point guard who was MVP of the conference tournament that was our backup point guard at one time, who's now, our guys call him MVP, is, just really did a great job in that last minute. I mean, I think he had 3 of his 21 rebounds in the last minute of the overtime.
Now, Cory, I know you guys are about to watch film, and talk to us about your preparation for this next one. I know it's different. You guys just played yesterday. South Plains hadn't played in almost 2.5, 3 weeks. Talk to us about now how this is a little bit different than Salt Lake. You're preparing for a week and you got all that, and now all of a sudden, man, we're rolling at what, 2:00 tomorrow?
Yeah, it's definitely different. We had a lot of time on Salt Lake, and we started breaking down different things they did each day on our 4 practices before we flew out. And then we did like a review day on Sunday's practice, and then we watched film Monday and did a shoot around Monday. And we played so late, it was almost like a whole nother day of prep on that Monday, because we played at 8:30 at night, 9:30 Eastern time. So it was pretty late. This time everything's the opposite. We've got, we did a little peeking on South Plains in case we won. We were doing some, peeking. I had one assistant just working on a just in case mode and was already kind of gathering some stuff. So that helped a little bit. But I mean, first time we see them in person will be in the layup lines. So that's definitely different. And, tonight we're going to do film. Tomorrow we got to shoot around, basically 2 hours before the game. So we won't do a lot with it. That's kind of the time we got allotted. So we'll do a shoot around and then change into our gear and play. So it'll be a little different. But, when you're this far out or this far in, you're one game away from the Elite Eight, I guess. Who cares what all this preparation is? Let's just play. Let's just play. There's a lot on the line, and I think we're excited and just want a chance to play one fair.
Cory, that's the biggest smile we've seen while we've had you on camera. And wanted to check in on that. Are you enjoying the moment? Are you finding a way to say, hey, this is awesome? When you won the game, when you're preparing, when you're around the guys, are you soaking that in?
Without a doubt. I think, a little bit when I got here, I had a little bit maybe too much nerves because of the time, because I got here first and we didn't practice that day. And it was good. I talked, my wife, Amanda, we talked, and Mandy kind of got me straight, and as she often has to do. And I was able to kind of relax a little more. And I think I've enjoyed it a lot. This team is funny because they're very resilient, but they definitely are kids in a candy store right now. They're loving every minute of it. So that makes it easy to enjoy it.
Cory, what do you have? I know you guys are a relatively new school when it comes to just, history of colleges and all that with the merger and all that. But man, it's pretty impressive. You guys have a rabid fan base. What kind of reaction are you guys getting from back in Waycross coming this way? I mean, because anyone who follows you on social media knows it takes the whole village, and you guys have got it rolling down there.
Oh man, that's been the best part. We had some that made the trip out here, and that's been great. They've been bringing us bottled waters nonstop to practices and games and everything else, and they've been excited. But the amount of texts and phone calls, it was comical. Last night after the game, student assistant manager handed me my phone and said, hey, you've got 161 missed texts right now waiting to read. And I don't even think all those was the text group. So that just tells you how many people were definitely hitting, and we're just excited. And it went all the way to about 1 a.m. last night of people still sending stuff out. The Waycross and Douglas communities are, they've kind of both adopted us now. And it's really, that's been neat because like you said, a lot of these schools out here, this is old hat for them. They've done it a long time. For our merger school, this is our first time. When we went last time, we were Waycross College. And I think they went a couple of times back in the 70s and 60s when it was South Georgia College. So this is the first time as South Georgia State College. And, it's been nice. It's been nice. Our softball team went about 3 years ago. Our swimming team goes every year. But this was the first time, and baseball is always right there, kind of like us, so close. and they hadn't done it since we merged. They did it not too long, right before we merged, but they were right there and we were right there. And for us to get it, they've been unreal supporters as well. All the coaches calling and everybody watching the game last night. And the last one I'll give you is pretty neat. My family watched it together last night. So my son and daughter stayed up, which that's very rare for them, especially on a school night, and never, and watched it all. My son and even stayed up until I called him. And I was talking to them at 12:30, their time last night, celebrating the win. And my parents had went over to the house and watched it with them. So that was neat that they got to do that and that we won. That would have been rough if you stayed up and watched the loss. So it was nice that they got to stay up and kind of party with Daddy a little bit.
Even through overtime. Cory, I got to say a couple things. One, keep enjoying, but it's not over yet. You've got another game tomorrow and more after that. Seeing you there in the hotel room, it reminds me of one of our episodes when we talked to John Beckett in the bubble.
That's
down
right.
in Orlando.
That's right.
And thinking about how focused he was on the Nuggets and all of that work. We can hear it in your voice that you are focused, you are clocked in, you're ready to go and can't wait to get your team going. So want to wish you the best of luck and the best of luck to the whole Waycross Douglas community that is behind you. That's pretty special right there.
And I would be doing a disservice if I didn't mention Jimmy individually. Jimmy Lamb is our foundation president for the basketball club, and he does an unbelievable job of getting out in the community and getting us people involved, raising money, but also getting people to come to games. And he also works the games and helps with the officials, dressing rooms and other things. And then Miss Lynn Cruz is another one that does so much, and Miss Ellen Dial, and she actually made it out here. Ellen Dial made it out here, and her thing was we had to win so we could eat at the Carriage Crossing, which is an Amish community restaurant, and we ate it today. And the team and all the fans that were here came and ate with us, and it was a great meal. But I think it was better just knowing that we got to have it because we won. But it is a good meal. It is a good meal.
Cory, I'm the same as Dan. We're excited for you. We're pulling for you. Hopefully Amanda watches this before your game tomorrow, and we just want to tell her to check the kids out of school. Let them watch the game at home. We'll get them. Right. I'm a teacher, and I'm telling them that.
Yeah, Logan's voting for that one too, right there. Yeah, family affair, community affair. Go team, go Hawks. It's the wrong color, but I got my Hawks going here. Hawks everywhere. Cory, final thoughts from you as you go into that next game against South Plains. We'll wrap it up here.
I think it's two things. One, I think you want to, as a coach, like we're saying, live in the moment. Also appreciate what got you here. But the last one that you have to do is, Sweet 16 is great, but boy, does Elite 8 sound better. And that's what we got to do, man. That's our goal. We want to make the Elite 8, and then we'll go from there and see if we got any more goals after that. But that's the only one we're working on right now.
Can't stop, won't stop. All right, Bowles. What else?
I think you've said it all. Everybody back here in Georgia's they're all excited for you, Cory, and people that know Cory know that he is a legit Georgia guy. It's not Atlanta, it's not South Georgia. He is a recruit Georgia. Protects this area, and hopefully they're all watching, seeing the special things he's doing, and hopefully you guys can keep it rolling.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Hawks everywhere. Cory Baldwin playing South Plains at 3:00 Eastern this Wednesday. We'll get the word out. But thanks everybody for watching, for listening. Off the Beaten Path special episode right from Hutch, the Junior College National Championships. Cory Baldwin, South Georgia College Hawks. Let's go.
I appreciate you guys.